Welcome back. If you ever thought about becoming a presenter, either on radio or TV, now this is the kind of book you probably should pick up before you make that decision. It's time for Book Chat, and the name of our book this morning is How Did We Get Here?, written by Ify Onyegbule. And she's an investigative journalist, and she is a presentation coach, a social critic, publisher, and author. And she's going to be talking about this book right now with me. I have to say, really well done for putting this together.
Thank you.
I'm thinking about, okay, so I read from the profile that you've been in the industry for over 20 years.
Yes,
First of all, I have to say, you don't look it.
Really?
Yeah, but our conversation just now does give me a little insight into the reason why you put this book together. But for those that weren't with us at that time, let's go over that. Why did you put this book together?
Okay, I've had to answer this question over and over again, and I always say to people that I grew up in the old brigade. I want to call it the old school. That's what the new people, the young people call it today. But I think the old school is actually the best school. That's where I grew up. And there was a lot of learning for me, where I cut my teeth, as it is. And so many of the things that happened, all of those things came together to actually position me for the job. Okay. I'm sure for anyone who has heard broadcasters talk, when you hear the people I prefer to call ancestors, you know, we're veterans in the business who have ancestors. True. And this is the kind of job where you get better with time. You know, as you stay on in the job, you get better. So when you hear some of those ancestors in the business, some of them are still in the business when you talk, they say to you that broadcasters are born, they're not made. I talked about that days ago, and someone said to me, so what's with all the trainings that you organize? Okay. Is it that the people who come for those trainings, they're just coming to waste their time? And I said, no, there must be something inside of you. And that's why when you have an audition, you write the report and say to the people, that's the employers, that this person is trainable. Not everyone is trainable in the job. So when you do those auditions, you say this person is trainable, this is what we can do, this is what we can do. And that's why you have to help this person bring out that talent, you help them hone that skill, and you advise them. You're going to be good as a producer, you'll be good as a presenter, you'll be a very good reporter. So is this an advisory note to future broadcasters? It's like a workbook, as it is. Okay. As I always say to people, when you have this, it helps you understand some of the things that you need to avoid when you step into the profession. I didn't have anyone share things like this with me, but I've been able to catalog some of the mistakes that I made. Let's go over them. Yes. Okay. Let's look at there's one that's very that strikes a chord with so many persons, and that's page 4. You cannot correct me. Yeah. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. That's something by Benjamin Franklin. Of course, with time, we're going to have quotes from Nigerians as it is. But when you look at this, young persons, I'm sure there are people who mentor under you. Yeah. And you try to tell someone something, they say to you, that's not how it is done. Okay. I remember saying to a young lady, I was going to take over, and she talked to the hour. And I said to her, no, you're supposed to sign out 5 minutes, you know, to the end of the show. That's when you should sign off. But she said to me, that's old school. So why am I leaving the 5 minutes? Wow. So you're leaving that 5 minutes for the person who's going to take over, adjust what it is. And you have to play music so that the person who's listening to you understands that a new program is coming on. So not that you like to correct it. They say to you, look, you cannot correct me. I know it all. But you forget that in this business, nobody knows it all. I'm still learning. I was going to touch on something else you said here, which is a really big issue. This is chapter 6, and you say the station is nothing without me. A lot of people think that they are the ones who make the station. Yes, it's a relationship that's kind of symbiotic. I would say that. But they need to understand that without you, the station moves on. Wow. There are different stations where I've been in about 14 or 15 radio and TV stations in the course of my 20 years in the business. And I found out that, yes, we've lost some people who passed on. People have moved on. I have moved on, you know, from some stations. But the station does not shut down. You're the one who will move. With or without you, the station will, you know, function as it is. And so many people think that, look, when you get suspended from your job or from your chore in the radio or the TV station, the station shuts down. It's impossible. The station is always the bigger body, and people need to respect that. So that's what I meant. That's what I tried to capture. Honestly, right, and I think you captured it quite well. So you tagged the title here, 25 mistakes that radio presenters must avoid. Yes. But then you talk a bit about vacation in the book. And I remember when I started, I was told you don't expect to go on vacation at all. I spent about 6 or 7 years back-to-back spending Christmas in the radio station. Not a lot of people know that, you know, we work during vacations. So why did you touch on this particular? Now, you just talked about Christmas. For us as media, since the news watch never stops, there's no Christmas, there's no New Year. Years ago when I was in Radio Nigeria, I think one of the Christmases, someone called into the show and said to me that they were going to send me a Christmas meal, and the box came, you know, because you're always at work. While I was working in the radio station also, I think I worked for 3 years consecutively doing the Sunday show. I never went to church one day, but my church was on air, and you know, we're doing everything we had to do, and I was talking about the word and all of that. So when you take a vacation, what I meant here was you need to take time, either a day or two, or take your casual leave 5 days, go somewhere and refresh.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be on Christmas Day. It doesn't have to be New Year. I've done a Muslim program before because there was a script. The Muslims had to go have their holiday, you understand? But there was a script, and the music was there to try and get in the mood as much as possible. And there have been Muslims too who have done Christian programs because people need to. But if you find a day or two, go and relax. Because with the kind of jobs that we do, you can easily thin out. And when you thin out, people will notice, whether they watch you on TV, whether they listen to you on radio, you begin to sound like a broken record. So it's always good to refresh.
I have to say that this book is quite broad.
Yes, it is.
Because you even go into things like breath control. And learning to speak. And you really went very deep into this, you know, into the profession. Even though it is quite, it's not a very long book, but it's very direct.
Yeah, we did it like a comfortable book where you can just sit down, pick it up, you're waiting for someone, you're reading. You find out that from one page to the other, you're reading this, you want to go into the next, you want to know what's happening. And by the way, I'm trying to do the audio, so that when you're traveling, you can just slot it in and you're listening if you cannot sit down to read. But we just talked about breath control.
Yeah.
Not too many people understand that. Have you listened to some people, whether on radio, whether on television, as you talk, you're breathing into the mic.
Yeah.
You should breathe into the mic.
Not
and
a
it's
lot of
something
people
you
know
learn.
that.
Yes, but you learn it. You learn to not breathe into the mic. And thank God I have low cut. I don't have hair like you do. What you do is go under your shower, have the water, turn on the water, and find how much or think about how much you can hold your breath. I swim. Sometimes you get underwater, hold your breath. It's about finding the way to hold your breath.
There is. Thank you so much for coming to share this with us. Once again, the name of the book is How Did We Get Here? 25 Mistakes That Radio Presenters Must Avoid. Ify Onyegbule is the author, and she's been gracious enough to come and join us. So it's time for us to also return that graciousness and invite you to the kitchen.
Yeah, let's find out exactly what's there.